Hey guys, it's Nicole. Welcome back to Chronicles of a Crafter. So I've been commissioned to make a junk journal for someone for Christmas. I figured I'd get started on it as soon as possible because things do change as people's requests change. And so what I'm going to do is just start putting together some signatures for that junk journal. So I just figured I'd walk you through my process on how I do that. I'm also going to be using some of the rice paper that we made the other day. I have this one that I coffee dyed as well as this one that is not coffee dyed. So I'm just going to separate these from the wax paper, get that noise out of the way first, and then I'm just going to decide, like, okay, so how big is the junk journal going to be? My junk journals are normally 9x6 or 6x9, however you say it, but yeah, I'm just going to cut down some of these larger sheets and start making the pages for the junk journal. So I do have a lot of coffee dyed papers. These were coffee dyed with a doily. So is this one and this one and that one. These are just some plain coffee dyed papers. Actually, these are lined papers on the other side. Now I can remove this because this came from a notepad. As you can tell, it has a logo on it. Yeah, so I'll remove that logo simply probably by just cutting it down, and then these will become shorter pages in the journal. So I need to get some more of the plain coffee dyed paper, so I'm going to run over to my stash and grab that, and then we can put together probably about, I want to put about maybe 8 sheets in each signature, and the book itself will probably be a 1.5 inch spine or maybe 2-inch spine, and it'll have 3 or 4 signatures inside the book. So let me grab some more paper and I'll show you my process. I'll be right back. Okay, so when you're making a junk journal, it's kind of important to know who you're making it for, who is your target audience, so to speak. So I know that the person that is getting the junk journal is a nurse, and it's being given to her by her co-worker. So it's a couple of nurses, and I think it will relate well if the items in the journal are, you know, applicable to her profession. So that's what I'm going with. I found this right here. This is like some images of nurses. And I got this download from my Porch prints. It's a YouTube group, a Facebook group that I belong to, and I believe she also has an Etsy shop. So my Porch prints is where I got this little downloadable image, and I will cut these out and insert them into the junk journal somewhere. I also found some cardstock with from Monarch, Pink Monarch prints. Also, I believe she has an Etsy shop. So I purchased these little sentiments right here. It says, "Do small things with great love." I just think that's so fitting for a nurse. And yeah, so I'm going to probably cut out some of these and put them into the junk journal, or implement them somewhere in the junk journal. So each signature is going to have a coffee dyed doily, and I usually put these right in the center. And that's just my little, not really signature, but I tend to put some coffee dyed doilies in each junk journal that I make. So because there'll be at least three signatures, I'm starting off with 3 little coffee dyed doilies, and I'm just folding them in half, and I will set them aside. So I hope you guys are having a great day. It's a Funday Friday, so I'm not really doing much other than this little project right here. I pulled out some paper from the Sears and Roebuck catalog and coffee dyed it, and then I have here some music paper also that's been coffee dyed, so I'll use these as well in the journal. Now, because this is a nurse, I'm trying not to junk it up too much. I want it to be you know, relevant, but not too junk journal-y. That's a thing, just not so grungy, you know, like the coffee dye papers is plenty. It's plenty of grunge. So I will have some standard, this is like resume paper. I will have some plain creamy resume paper, or you know, some specialty copy paper or copy weight paper in the journal itself. As a matter of fact, the majority of the pages will be plain, so that the individual receiving it can do more so, you know, her writings, her art, her notes that she wants to take, and it'll be something that she can either carry around with her on her shift, or, you know, leave it home and then journal in it at night or whenever she gets off. Her nurses usually work some crazy shifts, and I give them all the props in the world. One of my best friends, she just graduated from nursing school, and it's hard work, man. I don't even know how those how are those shifts even legal. It's like, you know, 18 hours 3 days a week. You know, like, when do you find time to sleep and or do anything else? So I value her time when we're able to hang out with each other. So anyway, I have all of these are from, I don't know if you guys remember, but back in the day, this was like a roll, or it used to roll flip-flop, so like one page on top of the other thing. These are the pages that would clip into a dot matrix printer, and they unfolded as the printer sucked them in. The printer had little buttons on the edge, and it would stick into all of these little holes right there, and the page would just run through the printer. Anyway, found these at an art show that I went to. A lady taught us how to do some watercoloring. Very famous artist out in Arizona. Was a one-time deal, a one-time offering, and she did a little art show with us and did some watercoloring painting. So at the end, she gave me a stack of these papers. So yeah, I coffee dyed them, and I'm going to keep these little ribbons right here because they make great page borders and etc. So I'm just going to tear them off of the edges here and save them for later. Okay, so in each signature, oh, I also have some of these are just some schematic pages that I coffee dyed. They're blank on the other side, and it's just some great writing space as well. So I will fold these in half. And if you didn't know, an 8.5 by 11 sheet, standard sheet of copy paper or loose leaf paper, that then becomes a 9 by 6 page for a junk journal. So here, it'll be like a 5.5 really. So here is my ruler. So yeah, it measures 5.5 inches by 8.5 basically, and that fits perfectly into a 9 by 6 junk journal. So I leave a lot of these pages to the height and width that they are, except for when you start stuffing them into each other, you then have to shave off the edges, because when 2 or more pages get together, here I'll just show you in this pile, you then have this excess that, you know, falls out of the book. It tends to want to push itself out to the right, because we have our spines usually on the left, because we're Americans, and Americans read books, you know, that way. So yeah, so when you fold over your pages, it then pushes everything out to the edge, and we have to get rid of that little section. So again, I'm just folding all of these up, and then I'll organize them how I want them to go in the journal. And I only have like these 2 specialty pages right here so far, and then I have the rice paper as well, so I'll use some of that. These are going to be some shorties. This was the one that had the border at the top that said Motorola on it. I just cut that away with my guillotine, and then got rid of the logo, and now I have these little shorty pages that's going to go inside the journal further on the inside, or you can fold it this way and use the actual lines that are on there. See, these are actually lined papers, so you can fold it over this way, and it'll still be a shorty, but the lines on the page are more usable than if they were this way. All right, so I need to cut down my rice paper, and here is my other sheet that I'm using in this journal. So I'm just going to stack those to the side. There's my doilies. Okay, so I need to figure out exactly how I'm going to use the rice paper. I'm thinking that I want to use them as signature covers. So I'm going to just fold this over to the right height of the signature and just leave it just like that, because I love these napkins in all of its glory, just to be in the journal as is, right? I don't really want to lose too much of it, and I think that's still very, very pretty. So yeah, I'll use it as a signature cover. So I'm just grabbing some paper just for measurement's sake and folding this over just to get it lined up, and folding it over that way. So yeah, I think it'll be great. So what you want to do at this point is then look for any flaws that you may find in your stack of papers, anything that you want to get rid of right away, anything that's like, it's been coffee dyed but it's torn and you don't really want to have a torn page in there. So yeah, that's the point, that you really want to just like examine all of your pages and make sure they are what you want them to be. Now once I fold this over, I know it's going to be too long or wide that way to the right, so I will then shave off the edges on this one and on this one. Okay, so let me go ahead and let's just organize our papers now. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I believe. Yep. So I have 6 of these. I will probably put 2 in each signature. And like I said, we're starting off with 3 signatures per. I'm also going to put a doily in each one. So there's that. And this might not be where everything ends up at the end, right? So we just have to go with the flow until we get there. So here I have 7 of these, so I will do 2 of each of these in each signature and get rid of one of them. And then once I get them all organized, then I can work on the cover of the book, because that's pretty much all you need to do at that point. So yeah, I have 6 of these, so I'll do 2 in each. And that's when I will shave off all my excess once I'm done organizing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I have 5 of these. I'm thinking I'm just going to put 1 of each of these in. Again, each signature is only going to have about 7 or 8 pages. Okay, so far we have that. And then I have all of these standard pages here, which are, like I said, resume paper. They're basically, I think like back in the day, there was like a standard for putting your resume on really nice paper so that you stood out in an interview. So yeah, that's what resume paper was used for. I will mix these in to the journal in various spots, but right now I'm just getting the number of pages I need for each. And again, there's 3 3 of these pages will go in each signature. And then I have these 2 specialty pages, so I will place one here on the outside of this signature, one here on the outside of this one, and then I just have to grab one more. And here's my other sheet for the signature cover. I may need a larger sheet. Yep, I'm going to grab a larger sheet of my rice paper and another little specialty page to go into the signature. Alright, well, I decided to use some cheesecloth as one of the signature covers, and I just cut it down so that it fits neatly in around the signature. And then I'm going to use all of these excess pieces right here. Cheesecloth always reminds me of gauze and what says nursing other than gauze. So yeah, I will include some of this excess cheesecloth that we've coffee dyed and made rice paper out of in the journal itself. So I'll put those up there with my borders. I've also decided that I'm going to go ahead and cut this down to fit around the signature. I'm going to cut it down. I'll start off cutting it a little large, so about 10 by 10, and then work my way down from there. So I'm just using my craft knife, holding it close to the ruler, and I used the scissor for the cheesecloth because it was a little bit easier to do it that way, but I think this will work as well. And again, all of my excess I'm saving for borders or somewhere to incorporate it into the journal itself. So yeah, I just want to get it lined up as straight as possible. I'm using also my craft mat to give me that measurement that I need. And yeah, so anyway, I did went ahead and organize my pages in the journal the way that I want them to be laid out, and it's looking pretty good so far. So I was short one page, 8.5 by 11, so that's 11. I need this side to be 8.5. So yeah, I was short by one page, so I went ahead and added that one page. But and that's just of one type of paper. I was actually over on a couple, so I'll show you guys exactly what I have going on inside each signature of the journal. So I like repetitive or you know, sequential types of patterns. So here I have my cover. I then have a specialty page from the Sears and Roebuck catalog. I then have some resume paper, then a lined sheet, some coffee dyed doily paper, some schematic coffee dyed paper, some plain coffee dyed paper, resume paper, lined sheet, schematic paper, coffee dyed paper, and then the doily. And that's how each one of these signatures are set up, exactly the same way. Makes it a little bit easier. This way I know which page, if something was to fall out, which signature is missing a page, you know. So I will do the same thing for each one of these, and then we'll just go from there. Like, I'm right now going to line this up so that it's even on both sides. So yeah, it is this way. And remember, again, I am going to slice off the edge here to get all of these pages nice and even. So this will fit perfectly right there. And then I'll cut away any of the excess that's on the top and the bottom. So I'll do the same thing for this one. And then we'll have 3 perfectly assembled signatures ready to go for our junk journal. You know, that I'm working on. So again, this is not for me, although I wish it was. I love making junk journals, and every one that I make, I don't get attached to them, but I care about each one just the same, you know, just as much, So yeah, I think that junk journals are so much like fun to make, for one, and then two, they are just very they're very practical, right? So it's a practical gift that you can give to someone that is new to journaling or has been journaling for a while but never knew about junk journals. So yeah, it's just a really nice practical something that you can give, especially around the holidays. So if any of you are looking for a junk journal, be sure to check out like Etsy and those types of shops before just buying a store-bought journal. You know, it just means a little bit more when it's handmade, I think. So yeah, that's my take on it. A lot of things on Etsy are handmade, and there's a lot of junk journalers, a lot of junk journal makers out there. Especially around the holidays, I think Etsy has a great sale going on. A lot of the shops do. So yeah, just check out Etsy and you know, shop from a maker. So here we have our 3 signatures, right? And I'm just going to show you guys how I cut down one of them. I'll just do this one, for example. I get everything all lined up nice and neat, right where I want it, right? So immediately my doily falls out because it's too short. But I will spend some time whacking these pages in place. And that is a technical term, whacking, okay? We whack our pages in place and get them nice and even, just where we want them, because you can always cut more. You can't add any back once you've cut it off. Okay, so again, I'm just whacking all my pages in place, making sure they are where they need to be, and just getting everything just nice and tucked down into the area that I want it to be stitched. So again, once I'm done getting everything lined up, I'll whack it again. Okay, I'm going to move my cover out of the way, move my doily out of the way, and then I'm just going to line this up directly onto my craft mat. Okay, I'm using this bottom edge as the edge that is straight. So I'll flip my music page over because it's not straight on that edge. Yeah, so I'll use this bottom edge as my straight edge, and I will just line this up directly onto my craft mat at a solid black line, and just place my pages right there. Need to make some room because here I am going to cut away this top section. I'm just going to use my knife and my my ruler and my craft knife. And you can put a clip on here, you can put a giant paper clip on it or what have you, but this will go so quickly. The time I spend to go get a giant paper clip, I'll be done. Just a few passes of the craft knife, and now you've removed your excess. Okay, so I'll do the same thing on this side. Again, I'm going to go in with the ruler and try to whack it some more. Make sure that these pages are nice and tight in there where they belong. Okay, tap everything down and line it up with a spot on my craft mat that makes it even. And then I'll just cut away the excess, and it's very little. So this side right here, it's very little that you need to remove. It's mostly just the pages that stick out from the center. And so you have to be careful, guys. You have to be careful. You're going to look at your knife and not the paper, because you want to make sure that your craft knife is going where you want it to go. So always look at the knife. so you don't lose a finger or have a major accident or something like that. So I'm always looking at the craft knife, making sure that it stays lined up with the ruler, and that's it. So now I have a perfectly even signature right here for my journal. Okay, so whatever is not even, I would suggest you go in with a scissor and just like cut away whatever frayed, like that little piece, that little piece. Like you just want to even everything up, but I would not go back in with a craft knife on those little tiny sheets that stick out. And then from here, I'll stick back in the little doily. It fits so nicely now. And then fold everything over. Take my signature cover, place that on the edge, and now I can see exactly how much of it I need to cut away. I fold that over, get it nice and straight, and then again place my craft knife on the edge here, and I'm only cutting off the signature cover. Okay. And again, whatever frays, I just go in with the scissor. So you want to cut it just a little bit bigger than the actual signature, just in case you have you know, pieces that you know, tore or what have you during the process. I have mine just a wee bit bigger than the actual signature, and I will straighten up my edges thereafter. So there's that. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Like, I will do the same thing for these two as well and get these all ready for the junk journal. Now, to make the cover of the junk journal, I am going to use chipboard. So if you guys want to stick around for the process of me making the actual journal, grab some chipboard, and maybe Monday, we'll make it a Monday and do a journal cover from start to end. All right, I will talk to you guys in the next video. Stay naturally curious, guys. Check out my links down below. Hit the bell for notifications so you're notified each and every time that I upload a new video. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I will talk to y'all in the next one. Have a great one. Bye.